This is but I'll double check that.
Hello and welcome back to Formula 2. We have arrived at Hungary for the sprint race here, for the feature race and the sprint race. And it's round number 8, so we have done the first half of the season. And Jam and Ham are top 2 in the championship, but Jam is a long way clear at the top. And yeah, he is definitely the firm favourite, after having a strong first half of the season, and it'll be interesting to see in this second half what will happen. And joining me again is Maxwell, and back in the booth with us is Original as well. So welcome to you both. So yeah, how are you boys? How are you boys feeling? And are you excited for another Formula 2 race?
I'm excited for this one again tonight around the T's work this evening. You've got obviously that gap at the top of the championship, but I think in Hamjam you've got someone that's really coming out in a bit of form, so I'm really excited to see how he does. And I still like Zydrad and Darnell Hood. That can really make an impact tonight.
Yeah, Original. Obviously, you're back. I don't know how much you've kept up with the F2, but how excited are you to watch some Formula 2 again?
I've tried to keep up with much of it. I just listen off Maxwell, all the exciting messages he sent. Oh yeah, I've tried to keep up with some of it. I've not watched the last couple of races, but I've watched the last race, and yeah, as he said, a crazy race in Britain. So expect the same this week. So can't wait to see that.
Yeah, well, I've had news from Darnell about what is going to happen, what the weather's going to be like, and boys, as you can see, it's dry quali, but we're in for a double wet uh, scenario in the feature race and the sprint race. I don't know how long it's going to rain for, however, but it's wet in both races. I mean it's hard to overtake around Hungary as it is in the dry, but in the wet, it's going to be anyone's game.
For the alternate strategy, that's thrown out the window. This is going to put so much more pressure on qualifying.
Yeah, this is going to be one hell of an event. I can tell you now. I mean, it might be a little bit boring, but who knows? This is Formula 2, so anything can happen. I'm sure the sprint race will be very exciting. But it's time to see who can get on pole. And they're on their way then. And this is going to be crucial. I mean, I know the pole position where you are on the grid is crucial, but the race start is going to be even more crucial. Original, I know you were going to talk to a few drivers. Who did you manage to get in touch with?
Well, as of I think it was Ham Jam from, oh no, sorry, Jam Ham from last week. He invalidated his lap time, so he was looking to improve. From last week, so he's looking to have a better start in qualifying, so he's further up the grid. But he gained massively during the feature race. He gained 11 positions, but he feels confident around here, so can't wait to see that. Spoke to Zydrad. He had an issue in qualifying again, finished P10 on the grid, so he wants to be close up during qualifying, so he's has more of a chance to battle the Swim brothers up front. And
well, as you say that, Zydrad has gone and put himself on pole. So, and Jam as well is P3. So as you're saying, he wanted to put himself further up the grid, and he's put himself on pole. So yeah, Darnell said it's heavy rain as well. So
oh god,
yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see on this one. Zydrad picks up the 4 points for pole. I mean, I think it's been a long time coming for Zydrad, and I think this is one of his best chances now, because he does usually get good starts as well. I think this is probably his best chance for almost a maximum points in the feature race, and we're waiting to see on the sprint race.
I feel like when he's maybe not qualified where he wants to be, that sometimes he's maybe been a bit unfortunate being caught up with other people. Last week he actually benefited from it with that extra pit stop that just gave him a clear chance to get in the lead. What I'm quite intrigued by there was Jamam didn't have particularly great sector 1. At one point he was down in about 17th, 18th place, and he really brought that together the latter stages of that lap to give himself P3. It's going to be quite difficult for Hamjam as well, down in 6th place. It's the fact that top 6 includes Darnell in 2nd, Freeman in 4th, Race Roller in 5th. These are all very capable drivers and very difficult drivers to pass. So a lot of pressure on him there, but as I say, with the wet, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, heavy rain in store for us, and well, this is going to be interesting to say the least. And yeah, I don't know what in terms of tyre allocation. I have no idea in terms of what they're given, but yeah, I think they can do the whole way the wets on some tracks. Whether anybody will chance it or not is a different question. So we'll have to wait and see.
I don't think you want to chance it here. I think just with the lack of being able to pass, obviously no DRS because that is torrential rain. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go with it. I need to remember as well, they can only go into those soft tyres or the whatever allocation they've got when it's fully dry. No intermediates in the old Formula 2. So, yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like it's going to dry up anytime soon, that's for sure. Yeah, as Zydrad slides through turn 1, he had the best possible opportunity for a practice start in these conditions. And yeah, we'll scroll through the grid, but yeah, original. I think we're going to have to look out for a lot of action here. Who do you think can be the biggest gainers here?
Well, to be honest, the biggest gainers would probably be from looking at last week. We looked at the likes of who are we looking at? So people at the back. Barlow, he got himself in the points last week. Coming from like near enough 18th on the grid from qualifying. Who else we had? Silverner, 16th on the grid there.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Some decent points. Sem, he's always been in the points for most of the races I've seen him. Who else we got? Little Wiggy, he's been in the points a few times. Outside of the championship last season, so looking to see an improvement from him. Other than that, I don't see. Probably Amjam will be up there. Trying to get himself out for 6th place. Beast Assassin will probably be up there for the podium position, so wait and see.
It's just whether they can get past or not. That's the thing. Right, so yeah, someone down in P16 is they must have made a bit of a, well, unless he had a spin or something on his lap, I don't know. But he's obviously had a full one. Sem has gone off the track in the end of the middle sector, but they're reforming the grid, so I'm going to ask you, Maxwell and Rachel, who do you think is going to win?
I'll go with Zydrad, give him a bit of luck. Maybe a curse with what I'm saying, but I still think he'll take it. I think out of trouble in the pole position, so I think he'll take this one.
Original, who do you think is going to win?
I'm gonna have to back Maxwell on this one. Zydrad is hunting down them two, and he's gonna hold them off all the way to the end. He's gonna win this race.
And I'll give you a quick surprise tip as well. Teddy's got raw pace. Whether he's got that in Formula 2, we're going to find out. One to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to make it a hat trick and say Zydrad is the favourite for me, and I would be surprised if it's anybody other than him, but I'm all for an exciting race. If there is one of these conditions, it's going to be slippy, it's going to be slidey, it's going to be some spills as well. The 5 lights are now coming on ahead of the drivers as they wait for the 5 red lights to go out. It's a long hold, but they are now out and we are underway as they all slide off the grid. But Zydrad leads and seems like he's got the best start of everyone and is fairly clear going into turn 1 and has nobody challenging him. Is Jam going to try around the outside of Darnell? Is Ham going to try the inside of Darnell? Darnell is parking his car right in the middle of the track as he stays ahead, but they all slide out of turn 2. Turn 1, sorry, up towards turn 2. Car off the track in the background. That's possibly Freeman dropping a long way back from his good qualifying. Here comes Jam Ham down the inside, now around the outside. Oh, this is going to be very
Contact
tight.
with two Carlins in the back.
There's two Carlins in the back, made contact. Someone has lost out. There's a car. Oh, there's a car off again. That is a high-tech, I think.
SLR Barlow.
And Barlow's off. Oh, here comes Ham Jam around the outside of Darnell. Is he going to make that move stick? It's going to be very tough in these conditions. Darnell's going to have to try and hold firm down the inside of the chicane. It's going to be very close. It's going to be forced on the curb as Ham Jam as a Kramer is going off and bouncing over the curb. I think Nicky and Freeman are going out. Still side by side between Ham and Darnell. Surely Darnell has the move done now. And he stays in P3, but it's a long battle and there's a lot of position changings. As Ham's going to go down the inside. It's going to get even closer. And he's still ahead is Darnell. But for how much longer? Can he keep this defence up as he goes down the inside again? There's Ham Jam, and he's trying every single corner at the moment, and he still can't get past.
Well, that was one of the harder starts to keep an eye on with the position glitch right from the off. So like I had Freeman everywhere, I had Race Roller everywhere. Seems we've managed to at least get everything relatively to normal now. Apart from Beast seems to be having a weird timing glitch already, so we need to keep an eye on that one. But yeah, Zai's got to be loving that fact that he is ahead, and he has a nice wee gap to the cars in front.
Yeah, Darnell is not in the lead of this race. I can tell you that. Darnell was slid round turn 1, meant to spin in the pit lane. Someone's off down at turn 1 as well. It's all kicking off as they're too wide in the background. There's a Kramer in the wall, and I think that was Nicky in the wall there. Yes, he's lost a bit of wing damage and he's just crashed on purpose and retired. And yeah, well, he will be getting a penalty from the stewards, and I think it's a VSC. Thankfully it's not a full safety car, as Darnell and Jam were swapping places, but yeah, that's still P3.
Just confirm both Lee Menz and Freeman in the pits, both were for wing changes. It's one of those ones, normally you'd have the free laps that they wouldn't be able to pit, but because of course we are under wet conditions, that is no longer the case here. No mandatory pit stop needed.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of action on the background I didn't pick up because there was a continuing battle for P3, well, for the Jam, Darnell and Ham throughout that whole opening lap, but got a few big position gainers here. Original, did you see much more?
Well, speeds? The incident with Nicky Rancourt as well, he just literally just drove into the wall, like giving up.
Yeah.
A few guys in the pits. I saw Freeman, he struggled in the first lap through the middle sector. He took a bit of wing damage, so did Menz as well. I saw Barlow on the exit of turn just before the corner before sector 2, and he just literally made a bit of contact, or he just lost his rears straight into the wall. I don't know if he got any wing damage, but I think he's safe. Other than that, there's not too much action. There's quite a bit of overtakes, like Wiggy up 7 and Southern up 6 into P10. He's into the points. So
just up to P9 there, James. He's just made a fantastic move there in the hairpin up the inside of Bennett, just at the better launch. And was able to protect that into the home straight there, so a really good game from Sudnall there, it must be said.
Here comes Wiggy as well on Beast around the outside. This is going to be tough as Beast goes a little bit deep, gives him the elbows, and he's going to stick it there for now, but it's going to be one of those where you're going to have to get your elbows out quite a lot if you're going to make a move here. And yeah, Wiggy is getting that treatment already, and he might get that treatment for the rest of the race as Beast runs wide. Doesn't want to do that too much as he'll get on the steward's bad side, but Wiggy sends up the inside of turn 5, and well, he doesn't get as good traction as Beast, but he does have the inside line, but he just stayed behind for now, and Beast stays ahead as he has a little look into the next corner. Beast has to give him some room as Wiggy's trying around the outside. He's going to try for the switchback. Beast parks on the apex very nicely, and yeah, he just couldn't get past. He slides around the next corner in the dirt, yeah, and he stays in P8 as Baggyfan has made a move on Night Ranger for P15. Baggyfan on his return to Formula 2 as Night Ranger's going to go right around the outside, and Baggyfan goes and full sends it around the outside and says, "You're not getting past me." Stays in P15. This is a few close battles, but like we said before, it was going to be very tough to overtake, and it really is. Yeah,
there was one as well. I think it was into turn 2. It was Sem on Russell. Russell ended up going a little bit wide. I think he just tried to carry too much speed into it to try and get the move back on Sem, so he's dropped a little bit off him, just under 2 seconds. But yeah, Wiggy, Southerner and Sem, the gainers so far, all gaining 7 positions.
Men's crashed down in this middle sector, and yeah, Freeman a long way back as well. But yeah, it seems to be one of those where you just don't get a penalty and you should be right. But Sumner's definitely has some decent pace at the moment, and obviously he's already made a move on Bennett, capitalising on possibly a mistake in the final sector. And yeah, you just have to hustle and harry these cars, as Sidrad clearly has the pace on Jamham out front and set fastest lap last lap and is pulling more and more ahead.
I think what they'll like as well is this battle for third place is really heating up. You've got Darnell, Hamjam right behind, and you can bring Race Roller right into that party as well, all separated roughly by about a second. So that could be an interesting battle that could lead to a few interesting manoeuvres over the course of the race. But apart from that, I think one of the real battles you've got is that Wiggy, I even had Southern Wiggy and Beast Assassin for P7, so the fight for 7th reverse pole in 8th and 9th as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And obviously, Race Roller, I'm having a look on board Race Roller to see what the view is like. It's not great, the spray is heavy, and yeah, the dirty air is obviously into full effect. It seems like that Jam is quicker in the middle sector, but loses out in other parts, especially in the final sector, kind of counteracting each other. So Russell picks up 3 second time penalty. He's down in P13 and going to get overtaken by Teddy around the outside. Oh, yeah, around the outside of the final corner. He does keep it on the track as well, as he is up into P13 for now. As Race Roller still watches on for the battle for third place. Russell's going to come back at Teddy, but he's going to be too far behind, and he has to settle for, or does he? Looks like Teddy's made a mistake. So went off board, Russell's got back past, and Barlow's also made a move on Baggy Fan down into turn 1, and it does stay ahead for now. Russell runs wide, and they're going to be side by side as Russell full sends it into turn 3. Now you'll be a brave man to go around the outside of turn 4, but that's what Teddy's going to do, and he's already made the move done before the corner. He goes off the track. Now look back to see what's going on behind, but Teddy stays ahead, and yeah, well, they're fighting for pride at the moment, but you never know what could happen come the end of the race.
Yeah, just following the battle just ahead of them, the one between Scopes and Sem. Sem is all over the back of Scopes, but it's that way around Hungary. Where do you go? There's nowhere for him to put the car that's going to give him the opportunity to overtake. It is just a case of follow him round. He's looking to get a better launch here, and he gets it just at the end of sector 2, so Sem up to 11th place.
Yeah, Sem up to 11th place from, I think it was P19, as I just, it's another fastest lap. And yeah, Jam is setting similar lap times to him, but he's the opening laps from Zydrad were mega, and that's pulled his 3 second gap for now. And we'll see if Darnell can settle into this race and try and catch up to Jam to put some pressure on him. But yeah, it's going to be tough. He needs to unlock another gear if he's going to try and catch back up that gap. As same with Jam, he's finding it. As Zydrad is currently in a league of his own with Jam in his own track space. But yeah, Sem ahead of Scopes, and McEwen on his own at the moment, but is getting caught a little bit by Beast behind, as Russell and Teddy going at it once again. Down into turn 2, Russell around the outside, as Barlow watches on. Can he get involved in the action as Teddy gets ahead once again? These guys are making overtaking look easy as they keep switching over.
Darnell went a little bit wide. We could have a move here from Hamjam.
Oh, I'll quickly go off as it's around the outside here. Darnell's made a mistake, and Ham, is he ahead? He is now. Is Race Roller going to get on the act? Just caught the end of that move, but yeah, he's going to be ahead for now, and I think he's got the move done, and it's going to be very hard for Darnell to come back. And just talk us through what actually happened with Darnell there.
So he just went a little bit wide there in that middle sector. That's that sector where I feel you can either nail it or it just goes horribly wrong. It can leave a couple of corners wrong. He just went that wee bit wide, that left that little bit of a gap. Oh, he's done it again, and Race Roller's going to just dip in the inside of him there, and he says thank you very much. So Darnell struggling a little bit, and that's him dropped down 2 positions with Ham in 3rd and Race Roller up to 4th.
Yeah, he's struggling at the moment. On the grass in the final corner is not the optimal grip, and yeah, he just needs to settle down once again and go again. This race is long, to say the very least. Southerners going for a move on Little Wiggy down at turn 1, as Little Wiggy has got a penalty. Wiggy does out traction him, but yeah, the move is definitely on for Southerners, and yeah, he does have some decent pace and speed. Is now caught up to the back of McEwen, as there's a yellow flag behind, and all of Sem's good work has come to no avail, and he somehow picked up a 3-second time penalty for reversing off the track, which is a bit weird, but he's going to have to watch out for the cars behind as he rejoins, and they're going to have to watch out as well. Sem goes very deep as his tyres are definitely not optimal temperature. As there's Russell in the background as well. Barlow trying to overtake him now around the outside of turn 3. He goes off the track a little bit, but he gets the move done for now. As Russell slips in behind. Almost gives him I think he gave him a little love tap up the rear there. And he tries around the outside now. He's seen this move done, or tried to be done, but then the inside for the hairpin for the chicane is the optimal line. As I think that's Teddy almost going off the track, and Barlow's going to slip past him. So Barlow makes 2 moves in a lap, and he is up into P13. Can he put a charge and hope that people ahead make some more mistakes?
Yeah, just looking a bit further ahead, nothing real change here. Darnell a bit wobbly again, coming out of the turn, the final corner, sorry, again, losing that bit of time now, lost 1.5 seconds to Race Roller. I'm thinking here as we're approaching the halfway point as well, this could potentially come down to how good your tyre management is, because I feel if you ended up as one of the front guys going to the pits, you could be stuck in traffic. So it'll be interesting to see how much the likes of Zydrad and Jam, and Ham especially, with that gap between him and Jam, kind of push. Intrigued though that Jam has taken about 7/10 out of Zydrad as well in the lead. So a lot of things to keep an eye on.
Yeah, there's this battle for E14 now rages on. It's Russell ahead of Teddy, a Baggy fan down the inside of Teddy, and he goes very deep and off the track almost. And well, he tried, and he had a go. I respect his efforts, but it was too late in the end, and well, he's just letting Teddy know he's there at the moment, and giving Teddy the hurry up maybe. But as you say, McEwen leading a big train at the moment, and there's a big gap back to Bennett for probably maybe some people to slide into, but obviously we know the pit stops are quite long in F2, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But Maxwell, Jamham, just briefly, went under 2 seconds behind our race leader Zydrad.
Let's say, I don't know if that's down to well, there you go. There you go. There's your replies right to that. You had Zydrad going, oh, I'll say a fastest lap. Then Jamham says, no, thank you very much, I'll take that back. So I was just going to say, I wonder if any of them are tyre managing, but evidently that is not the case if both guys are pushing for fastest laps there. I think the guy that maybe need to try and get a move on might be Ham Jam, in case there could be an opportunity that goes, or he maybe thinks that's the position for him third, and he's not going to gain 7 seconds. There's a yellow flag, try to see who that is. That's Freeman who's round, and he's going to have to watch.
Ahead of this, well, I say battle, ahead of our race leader, and is about to get lapped, as Ben's already done. A couple of people are in the pits now, original, and well, Darnell has retired from the session out of turn 4, so I'll go to you in a minute, as we do have a full safety car, but Darnell has spun out of turn 3 and is in the wall. I was about to say, original, will this be a time for try and pull in the undercut? Well, I don't think that matters now.
Oh, and Jamham's got a drive through.
Yes, so you'll see that in a short moment, original. But yeah, Jamham's just sped under safety car, and that's big for the championship, really. As he's our championship leader, and he's going to drive right to the back of the pack. And well, I was mentioning in previous races that he needs the other two need a bit of luck to go their way, and I think this is it, the original.
Yeah, well, that may cost him, but don't forget, Jam Ham boxed twice under the safety car last time, and he got the win in the first race. So, 10 laps to go, that drive-through may cost him maybe a podium spot, probably even the points of this race. But he'll be on the fresher tyres if he does box first, but again, it's down to if anyone else boxes. I don't think anyone will box now. Just if anyone in the top 6, unless you do.
Freeman has crashed at the final corner. Or spun, sorry, not crashed. But yeah, there's a lot of people in the pits now. Jam, though, I think Maxwell, Jam has thought, well, you know, I've got this drive through, and well, maybe I'm just better off staying out and hoping for the best. We'll see what happens, but yeah, he's going to be under severe pressure now.
It's the fact as well, Mercs, it doesn't just affect this race, but it also affects his sprint race as well. That's absolutely massive. As I say, if Zydrad and Hamjam needed an incentive to really kick on and a wee bit of luck to go their way, this could potentially be the night that happens.
Yeah, this is big news for the championship. A lot of people speeding in the pit lane, but yeah, I think Zydrad's obviously still favourite, but can Jamham maybe do his teammate a favour? I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. Do you hold up obviously within the rules? But this is
or maybe Jam
up to Zydrad
didn't pit because obviously his teammates Ham. He didn't want to affect Ham too much, knowing that his race is potentially completely done. So that could possibly be the reason why Jam stayed out as well.
Well, yeah, actually, I didn't think of that. Obviously, if he'd have pit, it'd have been a double stack, and that would have lost Ham positions to maybe a few drivers. And yeah, maybe Jam will pit, and we'll see. But yeah, I think Sim picks up time penalty under safety car conditions. It's not the best thing to do, but yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'll go to stops. Baggy Fan hasn't stopped. Jamham does come into the pits, but he will still have to serve a drive-through as well. So this is going to be interesting to see. But yeah, will Baggy Fan come into the pits as well, or will he try and do the no stop? I don't think it will be really that possible. As I say that, he does come into the pits. So I think he was letting. Oh, I say letting Darnell. Darnell obviously retired, but he was wanting to wait a bit longer, and he'll go in now instead of the last lap. So he is the only person left to pit, and he is now in the pits. So then we'll have a look at position changes, and yeah, someone has really benefited from that one, and well, he's going to move up another position once Jam goes through the pit lane.
I was just looking there to see if anyone really get affected too much by any potential double stacks. That could.
I think it was Beast.
That seemed to be the one that's been really affected. The only thing I can think with Baggies, it was maybe just surveying what the rest of the field were doing until I realised that was practically everyone. So he would have been a sitting duck effectively. But it'll be intriguing to see how long it takes the safety car to come in, because we have a very spread field at this point.
Yeah, well, Sydrad does lead, and it seems like the safety car is going too quick now for these F2 cars. Because obviously he can thrash it around as a safety car, and yeah, the wet is not as quick. So we'll see. They obviously won't be driving at full pace behind the safety car, but it might take a time to restart. So yeah, what all these drivers have to do really in these closing laps.
I'm looking here as well. Someone that could potentially benefit is Bennett, because he was obviously drifting a wee bit away from the pack ahead. The fact he's ahead of Beast and he doesn't have a penalty could see him in a good position At the moment, reverse pole could maybe get ahead of Wiggy as well with the penalties. Could be looking at maybe a 7 for a 6 there. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be, if they can stay in a train, it'll be very interesting. Obviously, they're not like, it's not like the race start where they're all bunched up alongside each other. They're all single file, so as long as they keep it in a straight line, it should be alright. But yeah, Barlow up 7 now and doesn't have a penalty, so this could be coming back in his direction along with Bennett as well. Could go up there a bit more, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, but big shame for Darnell crashing out down at on the exit of turn 3. He had well, ever since he got passed by Ham and Race Roller, he never really seemed settled on the rear end. So yeah, maybe it's something to do with his setup, or maybe he just wasn't as confident as those drivers.
I just felt like he kept kind of losing it a bit at the rears, potentially spinning. That's maybe just the case of what's happened there. It's completely maybe lit up the rears, and that's what's caused that incident to happen. Safety car coming in, Merckx, and we have a nearly 8 second gap between 7th and 8th. So it is going to be the top 7 close, and then the rest quite spread apart.
Yeah, I think the top 10 and possibly Sem will make it, depending on how slow Zydrad goes. We want to keep the temperature in the tyres as Jamham dives into the pit lane, and Zydrad's going to go now, I think, around the final corner, and we are going to be underway once again here in Hungary. As yeah, I think Sem is a long way back from Scopes, but he will be in the points once he passes Jamham, and maybe Jam can sneak a point at the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see. Zydrad leads, and there's not really any people making moves for position, as all points are still to play for, as that's a long stop for Jamham, and I don't know if he's actually just come into the pits and then stopped himself.
I think he's tried to get away with that drive-through straight away, and it's not allowed him to, because the safety car was still peeling in. So it seems like it was a nice idea, but the game has not followed through with it, so he will still have to serve that. Yeah. Or it could potentially be saving tyres for the race, but I think it is a case of he's tried to... Honestly, a really good decision, but a decision that the game just won't allow. So it'd be great in real life, but not here.
Yeah, I think because the safety car hadn't crossed the, or Zydrad hadn't crossed the start-finish line, that was probably why it didn't work. So yeah, he probably had to hold back, but it was one of those where, you know, I guess he has his self to blame at the end of the day for making that mistake by going slightly too fast on his delta, and yeah, big complications for the championship now. And well, can Zydrad and Ham finally mount a comeback? And well, we're halfway through, and we've got 7 more races to go, or 14 more races to go, 7 more events to go, and well, maybe, just maybe, it could be a real championship tussle on our hands. But at the moment, it is Zydrad who leads, from Ham in second, as we have a lapped car of J. Lee Menz, I believe, as Jamham makes a move on Teddy for 13th place. Someone has spun, Russell has spun.
Oh, and Jam has spun and he's missed the pit entry.
Jam has missed the pit entry. And it is just all going downhill for Jam right now. And I feel for him. I do. And yeah, it just needs to settle himself down and go again in the sprint. It's just going to be one of those things, Maxwell, where, you know, he's obviously annoyed that himself that he made that mistake, but can he bounce back?
Some real look here, I think might have a move. Yep. Nope, UKB's the assassin back on Bennett. Yeah, basically, as you were saying there, sorry, on Jamham, to go with the weather we've got today, when it rains, it pours effectively. Just nothing's went right for him at all. But I did say plenty of times, you know, everybody's going to have a bad week at one point, and it's probably better to have it middle of the season, so you know you've got other races that you can look at what went wrong and learn from it.
Yeah, as well, someone as Maxwell is absolutely flying at the moment. And yeah, he's could possibly go for a move on McEwen some point. He did pit early before the safety car happened, and then his brother crashed. And he did seem to benefit from that, and he didn't have to stack or anything. And he's in the slipstream in the tow, but it's just going to be one of those cases where you can't really overtake unless you are right up the gearbox of the other car. But it's going to be a good finish regardless of where someone finishes.
Yeah, I was just looking there to see if there was even any potential, or maybe even just a tighter line or whatever. But no, as you say, you're pretty much limited. You're effectively waiting for the driver ahead to make a mistake, take a wide line, have a wee bit of wobble, and you just have to be prepared to pounce when that opportunity arises.
Yeah, I should say good performance rather wherever he finishes. We obviously don't want him to make any mistakes, as Jamham finally is able to service drive through, but he is now a long way back from the pack. As Ham still hunts Zydrad, but he's just going to have to stare at his gearbox, as he hasn't got the DRS. He's just waiting for a mistake or a little sniff of opportunity to go for that move, maybe even a time penalty. But I'm sure Zydrad, who rarely ever does get time penalties, will do it around this track, and he is now pulling it ever further clear at the moment. And I think Ham will be happy with a second place, considering where he started and where he's ended up.
Quite interesting as well that despite us only having the safety car a few laps ago, there is only maybe, pretty much now just one battle that is within a second, which is McEwen to SLR. Wiggy's just outside that, but he's on a little bit wide in the final corner there, but I think he'll get Scopes' round. That's why Sem's by, but apart from that, it's a spread out the field.
Yeah, maybe Barlow can get some points here. It's going to be a good comeback from Barlow if he can, and obviously he's seen the gap come down quite substantially to Scopes, and maybe, just maybe, he can sneak within that 3 seconds if that is what he needs. But yeah, we're on board with McEwen, and yeah, this is the closest battle now on track, as Zydrad is flexing his muscles out front.
Oh, Bennett's went wide. No, it's Sem, sorry. Got the wrong MP Motorsport car there. I don't know if he's got damage to the front of the car. I'll see.
He's fine. Yes, he is fine. Sem is fine. But yeah, he's had a couple of moments, and he'll probably be thankful that he's in the points. And yeah, his teammate is currently on reverse grid pole. We'll wait and see if there's any action ahead. But Zydrad is clear. 2 seconds, then 2.5 seconds to race roller from Ham, and then 2.2, now 2.3 to McEwen. And it's this battle for P4 with Summoners under a second behind, but obviously no DRS available in these heavy rain conditions. Can Summoners make a move on McEwen? Can Beast make a move on Wiggy now that he's got up to the back of him? Zydrad sets another fastest lap, and there's a car off again. And is that Jamham?
Yeah, it's Jamham, yep. No, Jamham, that's him that's spun round there.
He has spun round, and it is really not going well for him. Someone is in the slipstream in the tow, but it's not really much of a tow in these conditions. It's going to get a better exit. It's going to be very tough to do that. But yeah, he just can't get on the traction.
Gonna move here, possibly Beast on Wiggy. Wiggy goes to inside to defend. And I think
he's around the outside, and can't make it. Oh, there's a lap car ends there. As a Baggy fan has made a move on Teddy, as I think Teddy has had an off, as he's a long way back. Yeah, he must have had a little off in the final sector, as we've seen many a driver do. But we have a few, like 2.5 laps to go for our race leader, and I think Zydrad is going to take this victory here in Hungary.
I just think he had that wee 1 or 2 laps there where he kind of stretched his legs a little bit and just went, I need to establish a bit more of a gap, make this a bit more comfortable, and that extra seconds just gave him that wee cushion where he should, emphasis on the should, see this one home.
Yeah, Barlow now right at the back of Scopes, doesn't have to make that move, as he doesn't have a penalty, as Teddy picks up a time penalty. down in P13. But yeah, Barlow is making a comeback towards the points, and this will give him a much better position for the sprint race. So he's turned a poor qualifying into a strong feature race, and he's going to set himself up nicely for the sprint. As we have two battles here, one for 4th and one for 6th. Wiggy and Beast have pens, and they wouldn't want to get any more because Bennett is in touching distance of them if they do. But he is a long way back at the moment and is falling further and further back from them, as he seems to be struggling since he got right up to the back of Beast and tried to go for a move on him. Beast very close again, but it's still not a move into this corner. He's going to be sniffing his gearbox at the moment, but he just can't get close enough, and we might maybe see some desperation from some people on these final laps, but we'll have to wait and see, as I think Scopes has had an off, so Barlow is up into P10 permanently now, and Scopes has lost it again. He's really struggling on the tyres now. Beast gets ever closer. Can he have a move down the inside of the chicane? No, he doesn't. He's just too far back, and I think that's the result of many failed overtakes, that they are just too far back.
Yeah, and it's the fact that he's maybe even got that gap there at 2 tenths and still could not find a way past. I honestly feel like watching McEwen versus Silver is just deja vu, you know, with both. It's a case of they just don't seem to get in a close enough position because of the conditions to make that move. Wiggy again just defends it, and yeah, Beast just can't get close enough.
Yeah, just you know, if he had a DRS on the pit straight, you'd think he'd make a move. Oh, he taps the back of Wiggy, and that's going to kill all his momentum, and I think that is the end of that battle, as he got too close, and he wasn't close enough for making a move, and then he got too close in the middle of the corner, as Wiggy just seemed to lose it a little bit, and that seems to be that battle. We are on the final lap, and yeah, it seems like the podium places are sorted out, but can Southerners make a dart? He's way too far back at the moment to make a move. Can he put McEwen under pressure at all in this final lap? We'll have to wait and see. This car going slow in the final sector, and that is Baggy Fan. Yellow flags out for Baggy Fan, as he's obviously made a bit of a mistake.
Oh, Southern with a 3-second penalty. I don't know if it will affect him too much, but it will basically kill the battle between him and McEwen.
Unfortunately for Summers, he was obviously pushing a lot. I wonder if these cars are out of fuel already. I did see a couple of fuel lights on as Baggy Fan's crossed the line, and he's got yellow flags, and I think that Scope's going slow, so maybe they're out of fuel. But this feature race is really all in about one man and one man only. He hasn't led every lap, as Jam went one lap further under safety car conditions. But besides that, he's been absolutely flawless in this feature race. And he's going to come round the final corner now, and it has been pure dominance from Zydrad. This is going to be a big boost to his confidence as he wins the feature race here in Hungary and slices the championship lead, as does Jam Ham's teammate Hamjam, as he finishes P2. Race Roller takes a podium as McEwen takes P4, and Summoners just couldn't make it in the end. Wiggy had an unserved 5-second penalty, and Bennett is going to take P6 in the end, just from Beast, as there's a few crashes as people are not happy in the background. Jamham makes an overtake on Baggy as he's out of fuel. So that means it's Bennett in 6th, Beast in 7th, and Lil Wiggy is in P8. Reverse grid pole for him. So it's one UNI Virtuosi at the front in the feature race, and it's going to be the same for the sprint. There's a couple of cars that crashed across the line. Sem P9, and Barlow rounds out the points in P10.
Yeah, quite a few cars, as you said there, that end up with struggling with a lack of fuel. I'm wondering here if he's quick enough, and this could be vital. Could Jam potentially get Scopes as well? Any position's vital for him as he wants to make his way through the field in the sprint, but I just don't know if he's aware that that's why Scopes is going so slow. So that's Scopes, Baggy, I think Russell and Night Ranger all with that issue of not having enough fuel. And yeah, I think Jam's going to take him. That could be massive.
He does take him in the end, but yes, car's struggling with fuel. As you must have known that Baggy Fan had that same problem as well. Russell, Night Ranger, and Menz is a lap down and crashed across the line in frustration. Baggy Fan picks up had a 5-second time penalty that he didn't serve. There was quite a few people who did speed into the pit lane, but yeah, original. Zydrad was the man we all guessed, and he was the man who got it in the end. What did you think of that race?
Well, Zydrad really didn't have much pressure. I don't know what happened with Hambim. I think could have been set up, or could have just been down to with Jam being in the head of him at the time. Could have just been held back a little bit. But at the end of the day, Jam picked up a drive for a penalty, helped Zydrad, but I don't think Jam held Zydrad up as much as Ham wanted him to. But I think Ham just struggled with pressure with the race roller behind, others cars around him. I think at the end of the day, he was 7 seconds down on him at one stage. But Zydrad just dominated throughout. Deserved the win, mate.
Yes, he did. And I think you got to go for a driver of the day. I mean, on a normal day, I'd give it to someone as Sam Barlow. I mean, wait and see. But yeah, I think Night Ranger didn't even make it to the line. That's how long he didn't have any fuel. But yeah, who would you give driver of the day, driver of the feature race, Maxwell?
Oh, you always give me this pressured decision before it pops up on the screen, before I get a bit of data to analyse. I think you've got to give a lot of shouts here. Southerner coming up from 16th to 5th, I think is to be commended in the rain. I'm between him because of that, and I think you've got to also give mention to Zydrad for just dominating, and a shout as well to to Ham Jam and Rouge Roller for very solid results as well. So I'll suggest a few if the original wants to give a better opinion, or if anyone in the chat wants to give their driver of the day for the feature race, they're more than welcome to. So you dodge that question.
Who would you pick?
Yeah, of course, I'd have to back. It's between two really, Zydrad and Southerners. Southerners dominated from the back of the grid, and Zydrad, he started 16th on the grid, finished 5th. He was looking to overtake for the 4th position, but again, I think he's just a lack of grip and fuel to push a lot. Just conservative towards the end of the race. But again, Zydrad, no pressure, ease towards it. I'm gonna have to give it mine to Zydrad when I had the interview with him early today. Zydrad deserves it, mate.
Yeah, I think we'll go with a provisional Zydrad driver of the day in the future race, and if anything changes, maybe Southerners as well. Well, we'll wait and see what happens in the sprint race, because you never know. Zydrad could just come through the field and then just completely pull everyone's pants down. But as I mentioned on the top of the stream, we have another wet race, so it's gonna be fun.
God.
And, burning through the wet tyres. And we didn't get much rain in F2, but I think we're using up our quota in this one weekend, one session. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how they cope. They're obviously used to most people are used to the wet now, and can they mentally reset and go again, especially the likes of Jamham down in P12, I think he was in the end.
It'll be interesting to see how he can mentally reset, if they can salvage anything else from the rest of the weekend, making sure it's not as damaging to his championship lead as could have possibly been. I'm intrigued to see how the likes of Race Roller, Amjam, Zydrad approach this, because we didn't see a lot of overtakes in the feature. And are they going to try and go aggressive and try and get some more points? But as I say, I just don't see where they can make the moves. I just don't know if we get maybe some desperation from a few people that maybe open up opportunities.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I think trying to keep it clean is going to be the main goal for these drivers, and we'll wait and see. We'll be getting underway shortly, but yeah, there's not too much to change, apart from the top 8 of the grids being reversed. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But can Jam come back? Can Zydrad put off something special here? Because he obviously got an unbelievable start. Let's not forget he got an unbelievable start in the feature, and if he gets that start again, he's going to be making a few positions down into turn 1.
Yeah, we'll want to keep an eye on. I'm intrigued to see as well how the likes of Darnell rebounds from that, because he had a very strong quali, and obviously was a bit unlucky with the spin. Obviously, maybe his tyres went a little bit. Freeman's one to keep an eye on, because he had again a good qualifying 4th position. Just didn't seem really comfortable, but maybe the fact he's had a bit more laps in the car maybe makes him feel a bit more comfortable for the sprint. So there's quite a few narratives here into this race that could really spice things up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens. Wiggy starting from the front. This is going to be interesting to see with the change of grids and what can happen from the cars behind. I reckon there will be a few fireworks on the opening lap, but yeah, I mean, once they all settle down, as we saw before, it's going to be tough to overtake. But we know those front guys have definitely got some big pace in the wet. It's just whether they have enough pace to get past. But we are starting shortly.
As well, guys in the chat, if you want to give your predictions of who you think will pick up the win, we've still got the formation lap to go, so let us know who you feel could take this sprint race, because I don't have a clue.
That is a good question, actually. I mean, I have no idea. It could be anyone, really, at this point. I think sprint races are a lot worse. If I had to go for a guess, I would say I would back Summoner to win from 4th. I don't know, I have a feeling that he has enough pace to hold other drivers off. We'll wait and see, of course. But also Race Roller as well, if he can get a better start than Ham and Zydrad, or you just stay ahead for the open lap. I think he can have a shot too, but I wouldn't count out anybody really, as Bennett didn't pick up any penalties, and yeah, so we'll wait and see.
I'm intrigued to see how Wiggy does at the top as well, because being in that pole position, if you can maintain that lead, you're not going to be facing any spray from the cars that are ahead of you, so I'm intrigued to see how he handles that pressure of everyone behind. Might thrive with it.
Original, what do you think going through the drivers' minds at the moment, having to go for another wet race?
Well, I've seen pressure from Little Wiggy at the front, from going back from last season when Little Wiggy at Mexico, when he was on pole or he was in second, it was literally put under pressure from likes of Race Roll battling for the lead. But it can go anyway. Beast is a quality driver. He'll be pressing Little Wiggy for that front position. Bennett will be giving it his absolute best to defend that 3rd position, as he always does. But you get against the drivers around, and Subness is quick, McEwen's quick. Race Roller, Hamjam, Zydrad, all of them are winners. So we look to see on how long they can hold up Hamjam and Zydrad at the end of the race. 14 laps. It's going to be a long race.
Long race indeed, and well, we're in for some more wet action at Hungary, and yeah, the soaked Hungaroring in Formula 2 for both of the races, and yeah, see how these drivers cope once again in torrential rain and in the spray on the start. It was action packed last time on the race start. I'm gonna say and hazard a guess that it will be very, very similar to what it was in the feature. We will be getting underway shortly as Darnell goes into this grid start at the back. Can he bounce back? Can Jam bounce back? What will happen? We wait for the 5 red lights and the timer screens do their thing. as people load into the session. And we'll be underway shortly here, hopefully, as Wiggy will lead us away. And here they come then. 5 red lights are now coming on ahead of the drivers. It's a long wait once again, and we are underway here in Hungary for the second time. And it looks like Zydred in the background has got a start, and he's up the middle of a couple of drivers. Is that Sem in the background having a little go as Wiggy parks his car in the middle of the track? Bennett's going to try around the outside. Seems like a couple of drivers boxed in on the inside as a couple of cars are running wide. Looks like Ham was running wide, and a couple more as well. Zydred is already up into P4 on the outside of Summoners. Can Summoners hold it on the inside? Yellow flag in sector 1 already. Someone's off the track. It looks like that's possibly Baggy Fan, maybe Darnell. I'm not too sure. One of the Campos drivers is round. But it looks like Zydred has made the move. Stick still side by side in the background as Ham is right on the back of Southerners now, and it looks like the other Carlin of Scopes and Jam going side by side as Sem has a little nose in as well, as looks like Jam has made a nice little move around the outside of turn number 5, and he is up into the top 10 already as Ham still scours the back of Southerners in P5.
Hectic again, not helped by the timing screens there. I was trying to find that car. I can confirm it was Darnell that had the off. That Zydred start was absolutely incredible. It's got to be said. It was on the onboard, and the move that took him into 4th place, just really good usage of the curb, and that just set him up perfectly, gave him the perfect launch, and he was able to take 4th place with that move. Seems to be a few wee squabbles in midfield, very, very tight together. It's been following on board the Teddy just to kind of get an idea of what's going on. Getting into that chicane as he wobbles again. There was a few very close coming together.
There's a lot of action going on now as Zydred made a move on Bennett, and that's caused a concertina effect. But I'm going to look to the front as I think, or no, I'm not going to look to the front because Wiggy is apparently 20 seconds back. I'm not sure what's going on. But Ham is up the inside of Bennett, so he made a move on Southerners who tried to have a go on Bennett, and that caused him to have a little mistake, and Ham has got 2 for the price of 1 here and is up into P4. As Zydred is in 3rd, and at the back got Race Roller and Jam. Ham trying to go around the outside of turn 3. As they come around this corner, you'll see Jam is just ahead for now, and he has a look at Sem. As there's 2 MPs in the top 8 for now, as Wiggy is definitely ahead. As McEwen is trying to have a little look at Bennett. There's a couple of trying to make a move down the inside. They're so close together, Maxwell. Anything could happen here.
A yellow flag in sector 2. I think it might be a few cars round. Night Rangers round. Russell with a little bit in off as well. So that's the 2 that are at the back. Baggy just defending there from Nicky.
Freeman has made an excellent start. He's up into P10. Quite quiet. He just avoided all the carnage. He's up ahead of Racer already. Jam made a move at the chicane round the outside. Somehow as a car off and spun and reversing, and that is Barlow. So unfortunate for Barlow. And that's going to drop him right to the back of the pack. Unfortunately for him, as yeah, he had a strong feature race, but this is going to put him right on the back foot now. As Scopes makes a move on Men's for P13.
As we finally get some respectable timing screens.
Finally. As yeah, well, the gap is starting to settle down a little bit, but yeah, Freeman's made up a lot of positions, and also has Jam made up a few as well. Zydred and Ham having a good start, like I expected. Yellow flag again. It looks like Russell is having a bad race at the moment. Scopes and Men's going at it, I should say, and Men's is back up into P12 as this train is forming behind Bennett now as Russell retires in the pit lane. As Southerners is on his own at the moment in P5.
Jam was a wee bit wide there on the curb, and it just kind of made his car wobble a little. I thought, well, if he loses this, he could be in the wall, but he's managed to retain it. Bennett has really tried to box in McEwen here, and that looks like it's opened up the door for Jam Ham, but if anything, it's compromised Bennett on the exit of the corner, and it's allowed McEwen to take 6th, Bennett 7th, and then you get that train, which is obviously Jam. Sem goes wide, and that slide has allowed.
All race
Freeman
rollers
and-
off as well.
Don't know how Race
He's had a
Roller ended up
little
that far
slide.
down in the first place, but yeah, he's spiralled down. All happening in the midfield, and you get Zai just 2 tenths down. This could maybe be a move as they get ready for the first corner. I'll keep an eye on that for you.
Still going on at the back. Battle's raging on as they're going for the slipstream at the front. As I'll go back on board, Zydra's going to have a little dart down the inside. Beast gives him the room, gives him respect. I think Beast has the better line. He's going to out-traction him down into turn 2. Can Ham now have the little run? He's going to have a little look to the inside, but there's no move offering there. As further back, we'll have a quick look as Race Roller and Sem side by side now into turn 2. Sem down the inside will probably have the better line, but we have seen moves made around the outside. Can Race Roller keep it pinned? Sem gives him the good old squeeze as Race Roller keeps it in, but he's hit the side and he's tagged him, and that's going to put him in the wall and gave him wing damage. Looked like a little bit of understeer for Race Roller, maybe a little bit of a squeeze from Sem as well, and that is Race Roller down into P17, down into P18 when Barlow gets past him, and unfortunately that is all she wrote, I have to say, for Race Roller.
That's a shame from there, as I say, a very impressive qualifying, a very impressive feature race, but sometimes the sprint can go that way. I've been keeping an eye on the Beast Assassin, Zydrad, Ham battle. There was a little opportunity for Ham. I think it's one of those ones where just the risk was going to be far greater than the reward, so he just pulled out of it. But they're starting to reel in Wiggy, and it's going to be real. Beast gets a wee bit of wobble. This could open up for Zydrad, but I think he might just defend it. Yeah, this lead battle is tense.
I mean, how can they really keep it up for another 10 laps? I mean, they're going to have to, but Wiggy's not going to be overtaken now. All eyes on Beast, but is he really going to be overtaken? He'll just slot back in the slipstream, and it's going to be a case of whether these guys can just stay calm.
A little bit of tap there.
Oof, riding the curve was Ham in the background, and is that going to allow him to go for a move? It doesn't look like it. And behind, Jam goes for a ascend up the inside of turn 1, and now it's going to turn to the outside. Is he going to try around the outside of McEwen? McEwen's going to show him the door, give him the squeeze, bit of banging on the side pods, banging on the tyres as they come round. Turn 3 gives him plenty of respect, and Jam, I think, is going to make the move, and does make the move, and that's a crucial move for this race. Can he now go on a charge to the drivers ahead? Ham is right on the back of Zydrad. Can he go for a move? No, he can't. And yeah, they're just still waiting behind as Beast drops off the back of Little Wiggy for now, as Little Wiggy still stays ahead, as Bennett and Sem are very close together, but I'm sure they'll want to try, and well, maybe there'll be some team orders. We'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, Original, have you seen much else going on? There has been a lot of action, but
Yeah,
this is battle at the front is heating up quite a lot.
Again, you got the heat battle of probably Little Wiggy would probably be helping Zydrad out, trying to make Beast Assassin close into him so we could hold him up a little bit so Zydrad can close him down. But again, hot on his heels, Ham Jam is 3 tenths behind him. He's like getting really close, looking to make a move. Of course, you got your action at the back as well. I saw, I think it was Barlow go around the corner. Not Barlow, whoever went round turn 4. I forget who it was. Just touched the curve. It was saying like Barlow in the feature race turned into early rear end steps out straight to the wall. Also, it was Race Roller at the time. But I think that's his race done. I think it's just claw it back, hope for a safety car, probably fix his race. But I think chance of points now is over for him. Freeman
Flag, as you say, Freeman Original, as Freeman has actually spun.
Oh, God's sake.
So yeah, I think he fully gave him the commentator's curse there.
Damn it.
And well, he has spun a couple of times in the feature race, and he's really struggling to get to grips. But yeah, he's now down into P14, unfortunately for him. But yeah, it's one of those where can you just, well, I don't know. Oh, Beast is off the track, and he's just lost a couple of positions just in the, well, blink of an eye, and Zydrad is now up into P2. Beast has made a mistake through the chicane, and not quite sure what happened there, and I just caught the end of that. and that's allowed Zydrad and Ham to get past, and Summoners is right there licking his lips as well.
And this is where it gets very interesting, because you've got the two Uni Virtuosi cars, 1 and 2. Does Wiggy let Zydrad through as teammates, or does he want to chase a personal victory? Because if he lets Zydrad through, is going to be under a lot of pressure from Hamjam, so that'll be one to keep an eye on for sure.
I don't know, I think this is going to be a bit of gloves off here, Maxwell. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Does Wiggy defend? Does he let Zydrad go down the inside? Yellow flag in sector 3. Wiggy does go to the middle of the road and parks his car in the middle of the track. Jam Ham sets the fastest lap, so he's on his way as well. Can he get any further than P6? As they come out of turn 1, Zydrad is almost alongside. But he has to stay behind for now. Wiggy is going to have to be inch perfect if he's going to want to keep this win. He's going to have to put his car in every right part of the racetrack. As there's another yellow flag, as I think that's Bennett who's spun round.
Yep.
Have a little look. A race roller has retired in the pit lane, or has
No,
he?
he's crashed on the start-finish straight, and that's given us a VSC.
Start finish straight. Interesting. Oh yes, he has. Oh, that's a big crash. That's quite far down as well. VSC, as you say. Little breather for Wiggy, as yeah, he's under the cosh really, and well, it's interesting. I'm not quite sure.
It's one place I
there.
didn't expect to see that Dams car, that's for sure. I was expecting, like yourself, the retirement in the pits, and to see such a big crash on the start-finish straight is yeah, must have possibly lost it in the treacherous conditions. Maybe got on the power too early, but it is quite far down, so that'll be an interesting one to look at.
Look at Ham stalking the back of Zydrad. He really wants to get the jump on him here. And yeah, Wiggy's got to be careful not to go too far ahead, so he doesn't get a drive through. As this VSC is out for a little while, and we're waiting to go green. Race Roller's car is out of the way. As Ham really wants to make that move, and Jam Ham's had another drive through penalty, and he speeds under VSC once again. It's just not going his way at all. Jam is just, I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it is, it's just not his day. When it's not your day, it is not your day. Can Ham Jam make a move? This will be crucial for this race. If Ham can make a move right around the outside, it's going to be very tough to go around the outside of Zydrad, but he's going to try it. He's going to pin his throttle down. He's got all over, his rear's gone all over the place, and he just can't get past. He's going to have a little nose down the inside, but it's not enough. And he stays, for now, in P3.
Scopes has spun again.
Oh, Scopes has spun in the final sector, but yeah, Ham is really wringing the neck. And the Wiggy stays ahead. But for how much longer can Wiggy stay ahead? How much longer can Zydrad stay ahead of Ham? Bennett replies in the pit lane. And that is in the pit lane, for sure. There's another retirement from this. Ham is really going for it. I'll go on board with Ham and see what it's like. I mean, you can see the spray, and yeah, it's allowing Beast and some of this, but yeah, Beast is trying to keep it all together and limit the mistakes, and not have another costly mistake that'll put him down another position. But yeah, now with the threat of Jam gone again, it's time for these two to tussle, and the championship is going to take a full swing tonight, and it's going to be a swing in Zydrad and Ham's favour. The tyres squealing on the traction. I mean, it'd be a miracle, I believe, if Little Wiggy can stay ahead, but miracles do happen. It's just whether they'll happen tonight. Nicky and Freeman's swap positions. Looks like Freeman's had another another little mistake, and that's allowed Teddy to go past. Zydrad is right up the gearbox a little bit. Can he go for a move? He's in the slipstream, in the toe, and it seems like Ham may have a little bit more straight line speed. Is Ham going to go for a move? They stay line astern. Oh, very late on the brakes for Ham. He's had a little bit of a wiggle on in the middle of the corner.
Teddy a bit over the place there. Those Freeman by.
Freeman goes back past. Where is Hydro's going this way and that? And it's so hard, Max, I've been in the middle of two cars this close together, because you know if you go for a move and it doesn't work, you're vulnerable from the car behind. You just really want to make that move stick. This Little Wiggy goes a little bit defensive, but he stays ahead for now.
Yeah, from personal experience, the one place I hate being in the wet is literally just behind someone. As I say, you have to try and second guess everything. Your visibility is limited. It can really cause a lot of problems. If you see somebody's round again, I think that's Teddy this time. What I was going to touch on a few laps ago was with Jam Ham. I felt like he was a bit far behind in his delta, so I was like, I thought he would maybe look to close up a little bit. Goes to do it, and then obviously that's caused him the drive-through penalty. So it's really hampered his weekend, those penalties. But how is Wiggy still leading this race? It's unbelievable defensive driving, fair play to him.
Oh, that's very late on the brakes for Zydrad. That's going to allow Ham up the inside. They're going to go side by side. This is going to allow Wiggy some breathing space for now. Ham round the outside. Zydrad sends it up the inside of the penultimate corner. Can he stay ahead? Yellow flag in the middle sector. Oh, there's a little bit of contact and Ham is sliding somehow. Keeps the car all in one direction, but that's going to put him on the back foot and a little bit of contact has brought Beast in play. Can he make a move? 5-way battle for the lead in Formula 2. This is what we love to see, and F2 is really
this one again.
Big action at the moment. F2 is wonderful. Can Zydrad make a move? He puts his car in the middle of the road. Wiggy gives him the squeeze. He's sliding. He climbs the curb. Zydrad aggressively. Oh, they tagged a little bit, and Wiggy stays ahead. Can Ham now have a run on Zydrad? He's going to try around the outside, down the inside. Are they going to go free abreast almost? Wiggy defends in the middle of the road. This is going to get very tasty indeed. Oh, they're both off the track. What is going on at the moment? Ham around the outside of two cars, maybe. Around the outside of turn 5. Surely he cannot do that. He's still on the inside. A little bit of contact made. Is Ham going to make a double overtake for the lead? He is maybe. Oh, this is very close indeed. Wiggy gets a switch back. He's going to stick his nose up the inside. Ham Jam is in the lead of the sprint race for now, and this is unbelievable.
I was just watching that fully on board from Beast's perspective, and I'll be intrigued to see what the reaction is from the Uni Virtuosi camp. Whereas we've got a chance here of Beast possibly going to take Zai.
Here's going down the inside. It's going to be... Oh, there's a bit of contact again. Zydrad is really trying his luck at the moment. He's really driving on the edge, on the limit, to try and hold these positions. It was just a lot of cars close together. And yeah, I don't really know how to explain that, but yeah, somehow Ham is in the lead, and he is the favourite now to go on and pull clear and take this win. Can Zydrad and now go for the move? Summoner's in the background is trying to go for a move as well. Zydrad's going to go down the inside, he's going to dive it down the inside. Summoner stays behind, and Wiggy just hits the back of Zydrad a little bit, and now he's down into P3. Still has a pony in place, but yeah, Zydrad in P2 is going to be, well, heated in the cockpit right now that he is not in the lead of this race.
Yeah, just the three-way battle ended up basically compromising each other, and a very brave move even, from Ham Jam, and going around the outside there, and he's made it stick, and now he's going to try and pull away, although Zydrad just nicking a 10 for 2. But one person that we've not really even mentioned on this race that's had a stellar recovery drive, Darnell, 7th from a 19th place start, so big shout out to Darnell, as Beast goes a wee bit of wobble there, and a bit of contact with Southerner.
Yeah, this race is not over yet, so stay and watch, folks, as well. This is getting really juicy. I said it was going to get tasty, and it did. They were wheel banging, they're all over the place, and Ham makes a double overtake out of absolutely nowhere, as Beast has made his way past, as Wiggy has made a big mistake. Beast is now up into the podium places, so yeah, some more changes. Wiggy is struggling now to keep ahead. Zydrad has really got the bit between his teeth. Can Ham hold on? And this will be really good for Ham if he can hold on to this victory. Jam makes a move, and he is up into P11, but Nicky I don't think is in this race. So Wiggy runs wide, and I think that's going to allow Summoner's yellow flag in sector 2. You're not sure who that's for. Someone's going a little bit slow, but Summoner's getting the big old squeeze, giving him the Schumacher treatment is Lil Wiggy, and Summoners goes
contact
deep. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, and he goes a little bit deep. Will he have to give that place back or not? Zydrad is still behind. We'll wait and see, but Summoners stays ahead for now. Yeah, that was almost a big accident between those two drivers.
I think it's just checking there. Scopes, it's going slow. Just holding up Baggy fans, that's down in 14th place. Yeah, how Zydrad just took, I think it must have been about 5/10. He must have taken out that lap there on Ham Jam, so he's really ramping up the pressure. be intrigued to see if there'll be any issues with fuel in this race after the last time, but if everybody's going to be able to manage it, you'd imagine it'll be the top couple of guys.
Yeah, this is what we signed up for when we wanted to see some big juicy Formula 2 action. And well, yeah, we have seen a spectacle so far. I didn't think we were going to see much of a spectacle around Hungary, but the sprint race has been so far much better. It goes very, very wide, as you say, and Jam picks up a time penalty to add to his woes this race. And these two races, and well, when it rains, it pours. Pardon the pun, but it is absolutely torrential rain for Jam Ham's championship lead at the moment. It's going to be, well, virtually sliced into, well, maybe in half, maybe in 2/3 at the moment. He was about 60, almost 60 points clear. Was our championship leader, Jam Ham. He'll still be championship leader after this, but he'll be a lot closer, as Zydrad won the feature race, and he could get second here, and yeah, probably about halved will his championship lead, and maybe even more than that, as Ham stays ahead for now. Freeman makes a move on JD Menz. Freeman has been sideways a lot this race, as yellow flag in sector 2, side by side down turn 1. Scopes is off again. He's really struggling in these conditions. Freeman down the inside of turn 1, and he does make that move stick for now, and is up into P9. But it looks like at the moment Sem is going to nick that point in 8th place.
Just looking around to see if there's any other battles there. Everything else is kind of 1 second or more apart. Oh, yellow flag in sector 1 or 2. I think that is Sem in a wall.
Sem. I said he's going to nick that final point. I've given him the mighty commentator's curse. And Freeman at the moment is in pole position to nick that final point, as Scopes is off once again. And he is really struggling at the moment. And yeah, Freeman without a penalty, as Jaylee Mez just picked up a penalty. It looks like Freeman will take that final point as Sem cuts the chicane in the middle sector. So then we are approaching the final lap. We do have a lapped car of Scopes who will need to get out of the way. And here we go then. Scopes gets out of the way nicely. My voice is going, as this has been incredible action. Does Zydrad have any opportunity? Ham leads, and he's on his way at the moment to take another sprint race victory from P7 on the grid. And it's been, wow, the cork in the bottle, you could say, was Lil Wiggy, and well, like a bottle of champagne, it absolutely exploded into life once Wiggy was overtaken in the end. And yeah, there was a little bit of a wheel banging, a little bit of side pod to side bar action between the two teammates. As I said, there would be gloves off. There was really gloves off, and well, it meant that it was Ham Jam's gain, and he is currently in the best position to go and take this victory. And I don't think Maxwell Zydrad is going to have any chance to get this win.
I was going to remember the 2 places he can send it. We're going to have to be very, very brave moves. I think that wee wobble there may have just put any chances to bed there. The elite move needs Sem getting a move on Nicky Bot there for 10th place as well. But I think the man of the hour in the sprint race is going to be Ham Jam. If he just gets the perfect line, it looks good.
It looks good for Ham Jam. Well, he had to pull off something quite special, and he had to bide his time. But in the end, it's UNI Virtuosi's pain, which turns into Ham Jam's gain, as he's going to come across the line to just pip Zydrad to the win in the sprint race. And it was a tussle for the ages in the Hungary sprint race. And boy oh boy, was that one to watch, as it looks like Lil Wiggy has dropped to P60, and McEwen rounds out a 3rd and a 5th for the Charouz team here in the sprint race. And it's good points still for UNI, but yeah, Summoner's P4 in the end, and he had a solid weekend, quiet but solid for Summoners. As Darnell from, like you say, from P19 finishes 7th and in the points. Freeman as well from P18 in the points. And yeah, in the end, Nicky wasn't driving, so Jam will take P9, but that is still no points for him. And yeah, well, it's a couple of races to forget for Jam in the end. And yeah, Them will take P10, Men's 12, Barlow. Baggy and Night Ranger will round us out in the end. But yeah, Maxwell, that was something else.
Yeah, it was another thrilling encounter in the world of Formula 2. I'm quite gutted for Wiggy. I felt some of his defending was really, really good. He must have been under an absolute barrel load of pressure. And I don't know if there's maybe been contact that's maybe damaged an end plate or something, because he has dropped off the pace quite substantially. But you got to give him credit, as I say, for a stellar amount of defending. Intrigued to know if there was any communication between him and Zydrad, whether they discussed, what was going to happen, or if they were discussing as the race went on. But yeah, the race as a whole, fantastic. I said, I wonder how they're going to play this. Is many people going to make opportunities to pass people? And you've got Ham Jam 6 places, Zydrad up 6, Darnell up 12, Freeman up 10. What do I know? That's what I'll say.
Yeah, it was something else. What are your thoughts on that tussle? As looks like Night Ranger's got a puncture. What were your thoughts on that tussle original? That was something special.
Where do I start?
A safety car.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it is a safety car somehow. Interesting.
It's a lot of people. Someone's got a flat tyre as well. So it's Night Ranger, flat tyre. Well, it was probably the major action between top 5 really before the little incident little battle between two teammates of Little Wiggy and Zydrad. I think Little Wiggy should have played team orders there, just let his teammate bite. Zydrad was a lot quicker than him, but that just cost him the chance of winning the race with Ham sneaking a double overtake on them too at the end of the day. That little battle cost Zydrad the win. I think it will be shouted at the party, probably. We'll hear from him in a second as he joins the party.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Ham deserved it.
To finish first you must finish. As the great man once said, Murray Walker. And it was all action-packed. Zydrad does take the points for fastest lap in the end, and he small crumb of comfort for him, as he does take the maximum points. Well, not the maximum points. Does take the most points from this weekend, and I think he just missed out on the maximum points by 3 points at the end, and that one position in the sprint race. But it is Zydrad, Hamjam, and McEwen rounds out the top 3 by virtue of being further ahead in the feature race. So those are the 3 drivers that will be our podium interviews. It'll be very interesting to hear from Zydrad and Ham. And yeah, Jam Ham on 0 points.
Just a wee bit of maths here for you, Mercs, if you want a wee bit of... Obviously these results are not official until they get confirmed by the F2 team, but if everything stands, you're looking at a championship standing, I believe, this is down to how good my maths is, of Jam Ham on 230, yep. Ham Jam up to 210, yep, and Zydrad right, up to 195.
You're correct. 20 points in it.
It's really opened up.
Yeah, that is going to be very interesting now. I mean, yeah, one race, as it sure it was, one session, and that was it. And well, it is really, with 6 rounds to go, it's really put the cat amongst the pigeons, you could say. And we wait for McEwen, as he was third on the standing. So we wait for McEwen, and yeah, we'll I'll send him another invite if he didn't get the first one, and we'll wait for him. But yeah, so if we'll do it same as usual. Maxwell, do you want to do third and second, and then I'll do first?
Yeah, I don't mind.
If McEwen does join, of course. But if not, we'll just do these two, and we'll wait for a few seconds, and wait and see if he does actually join or not. If not, we'll crack on. Would be nice to hear from Ewan, because we haven't heard from him in a long while actually, in the top three. We'll give him one more go. If he doesn't join, then we'll just do these two. But yeah, time to take a breather, take a breath, and digest what actually was a cracking race. Doesn't look like Ewan.
Callum said get Sliver in instead, if you want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, get him in. So that.
We'll get wherever he is.
Tom will tell them, sorry.
I will get Summoner in instead, and then we'll crack on once he joins the party, which I hope is soon. Oh dear.
But his first race back, quality racing.
Yeah, I think. Well, you've been away for a while, a little while original, but yeah, came back with a bang.
Oh, definitely.
That's for sure. As that is the party full, so I'll let you do your thing, Maxwell.
No problem. I don't have the information in front of me, so we'll obviously start with third place. Sumner, I just want to ask, how did your qualifying go? I don't have it down in front of me, unfortunately. How did you feel it?
I started 16th. I binned it in the chicane. I lost traction, which is the first time I've done that. Well, this week. But yeah.
So that means, because I do have your results for the rest of the weekend, a 5th place finish from 16th place in the wet at Hungary, where it's very difficult to overtake. How? Just how? Explain. Talk us through your race.
I can't believe it either. I said, when I saw that it was raining both races, I said to the guys, this is going to be my first time doing no traction and no gears in race conditions, so I'm definitely going to spin it. But I got very fortunate with people spinning out, people getting like caught up in unfortunate events like start the race, and well, I thought I got unlucky with my pit stop time in the feature, but turns out I got quite lucky there. I got a few positions there, and then it was just trying to keep it on the road, to be honest. Not bloody easy to drive, especially in the wet.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the feature, yeah.
May I ask as well, obviously you said you spun on the qualifying lap. Does that, like, I know it sounds very strange to say in hindsight, but does that maybe even help you, like, mentally when you're actually going to race? It's like, right, I've made this mistake, I know where I've went wrong. Does it kind of ease your mind knowing, right, just don't do that again when you're racing, and then hopefully it comes to you?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, when I spun, I wasn't too pissed off at the end of qualifying. I thought, it's an opportunity to maybe try and get like something like driver of the day, and maybe that's a spin out the way for the weekend. But then at the same time, I was like, well, if I've spun it in the dry, what on earth's going to happen in the wet? But again, fortunately, that wasn't the case, and yeah, it definitely gave me a bit of a drive, and yeah, I think today's another step forward in for me personally, my progression in Formula 2.
And you've backed up in that sprint race with a 4th place finish. Did you find the tight racing in that race?
Oh, it was fantastic to watch. It really was. I enjoyed that one. Obviously, I was hoping something would happen front, maybe a crash or something. But no, in the end, I was just only to make up one place when Wiggy's tyres really started to go. But yeah, P5 and P4 finishing behind the likes of Ams, Zydrad and Callum. I mean, I'll happily take that. On to Spa.
Congratulations, man. Fantastic weekend for yourself.
Thanks, man. Congratulations to Zy and Ham as well, actually.
And speaking of Ham, we'll move on to him, just to get my wee stats down here. So I want to ask, 6th place in qualifying, how did you feel the lap went?
It wasn't great. I mean, I tend to play it safe anyway. I had been setting lap times that would have definitely challenged for pole, but it's like it is every week. I think I'm always a few tenths slower in quali, and then I made a little bit of a mistake in the middle sector, so I had to ease off to avoid invalidating. So to be honest, I can't really have too many complaints.
Feature race, second position. One thing we did notice was Jam doing the extra lap. Was that just a case of, obviously with his situation with the drive-through, was it a case of let's just not hamper your ratio in a very, very good position and playing the team game in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I got a nice start, got into a decent position, but I think third was going to be the best I was going to get. And then obviously, like you say, James got the drive-through, which was definitely unlucky on his part because that's a very rare mistake. I think he was trying to go to the end, had there not been a safety car or whatever. And then I kind of asked him if I could pit when the safety car came out, and he didn't really complain about it. He just got on with it. So yeah, I'd thank him for that. So yeah, I mean, he was unlucky. I think he was definitely at least P2 on the day, but obviously, you know, maybe it's about time that, I don't know whether you call it good luck for me or bad luck for him, but maybe it's about time we swap around in that regard.
Yeah, no, we were saying that. We say that during the course of the season, there's going to be highs and lows for everyone. Even last week, I still say you're probably the driver of the weekend. Last time you get a wee bit unlucky with the safety car situation, and then in this week it's obviously played into your favour with circumstances that have happened. But I say, great position to finish second. Onto the sprint race, obviously the win there. I need to ask, that move around the outside, how? Very brave, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously Zai was getting held up a lot. Once we both got past Beast at the same time, actually, which was pretty lucky for me because I knew if I was to have any chance, I'd need to keep Zai in check. And then I was saying to James, I was like, well, he's won now, because I was assuming he was just going to be let through.
Yep.
Which obviously wasn't the case. And then I thought maybe, perhaps, you know, they're trying to just keep the 1-2 and they'll swap right at the end or something, because they were doing it really well if that was the case. But no, obviously they were clearly battling. I'd been gaining a lot of time into that corner. What was it, like turn 7 or 8 or something? So I knew that if there was going to be any spot on the track, it would be there. I mean, obviously I saw Zai get pushed wide, and then I thought, well, I've got to go for it now. I mean, I'd already had a couple of goes at it and not quite pulled off. So yeah, I don't know. I just had the grip, and then I'm not entirely sure how I managed to thread it all the way around the outside. But I mean, I'll take it. I definitely wasn't the fastest there, but obviously I managed to get that gap, and it kind of allowed me to just settle down a little bit before obviously I had to pot the bus to stop Zai getting past at the end.
Well, that's the thing. When you get to that stage of the race, you're out in front. You don't have anyone spray. It allows you to dictate the pace. But overall, as I say, it's. I don't want to necessarily say a weekend you needed, because I said last week I felt was a very good weekend for yourself. But it's 2 stellar back-to-back weekends, and I can only say congratulations on a win at the end there in the sprint race.
Yeah, cheers guys, and well done to Zai and Summers and McEwen as well for their results.
Yes, so we move on to our top point scorer across these 2 races, and it is Zydrad. And well, Zydrad, it was a nice qualifying lap, and it's nice to be on. I bet it's nice to be on pole finally, once again.
Yeah, I mean, long time coming. Through some parts my own fault, some parts out of my control, like last week. But yeah, happy to be on pole again.
So yeah, it was well. And another good start. Obviously, when you saw it was raining, what were your thoughts? Do you think this was time to cash in?
I mean, yeah, that was the original thought. I saw it was raining both races. I thought I'd make a little tweak to my tricep and kind of built my car to try and get the downforce to lead and stay in the lead. Yeah, I think quality and feature couldn't have gone more perfect for me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you had a safety car at the end. Was there any worry that you'd possibly lose the lead to Ham at the end of that feature race?
I mean, like Ham touched on a minute ago, I realised after about 3 laps that I needed to save my tyres, otherwise I wasn't going to do the no-stop, which was the plan. So I was just trying to conserve my tyres as much as possible, as well as keeping the gap to Jam. Safety car came out, and I thought, And I saw the drive-through that Jam got, and I said, what better way to pit? I got really lucky there, and managed to stay out in front, even if some of the other drivers decided to do the no stop. But I think the tyre wear around Hungary was just a bit too much.
Yeah, we did see a lot of people struggling with tyres and even with fuel. But yeah, we'll move on to the sprint race, and well, I mean, another good start. It was pretty hectic at the start, and then obviously you get up to the back of Beast, and you get past Beast, and then, well, I don't know. I mean, obviously he has the right to fight for his position, Little Wiggy, and I think obviously not winning a race before, you always want that victory, and it was one of those where, you know, you're stuck in the middle if you go for a move and it doesn't quite pay off, and then Hamjam gets through. Just talk us through that entertaining battle.
Well, sprint race, I got a similar start to my feature one, so I got quite fortunate there. I managed to just squeeze in between, I think, Roller and Ham. Made up to fourth, I think, by the end of lap one. Got very fortunate with Beast losing on traction at the exit of the chicane, but that's where my luck really ran out. Miscommunication, I'd label it as, between me and my teammate. I knew that he had strong pace to win the race, but I thought, in my head, all right, if we swap round, we could reserve a 1-3, get a double podium for the boys. But I think miscommunication. I went for a move that he wasn't really expecting me to make, and a bit of contact lost us both the position to Ham, and like I touched on earlier, my setup was kind of built to lead and then stay in the lead. So similar to the Mercedes car last season, that once I'm in traffic, I couldn't really get past because Ham's wings were much higher than mine. So it was kind of just saving the tyres and bringing home P2.
Yeah, I think it hasn't, even if you didn't win, it was almost the maximum points, but I mean, -3 points. Obviously, that could be the difference between winning and losing a championship, but I think considering what's happened in the past few weeks, I think you can leave here very happy indeed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it frustrated me at first, obviously, heat of the moment. But considering my week, my luck all season, basically, apart from last week, more than happy to bring home this chunk of points for the team and hopefully caught Jam a bit in the championship.
Yeah, I think it was 20 points between Ham and Jam.
It was 80 between you and
It
Jam.
was 80, so that would be, you got 45, so it'd be 35 if my maths is correct. So yeah, I mean, 35 covers the top three now. Yeah,
Getting a bit spicy, yeah.
We've obviously got 6 rounds to go, and next week and the next couple of weeks we've got probably a lot of overtaking going on, and then we go to Singapore, which will be interesting. But it's a lot of decent tracks coming up, and it's non-stop. But I think to avoid the stream going on, I will end it there and say my thank yous to Maxwell and Original for joining me along for this entertaining ride. I wasn't expecting it to be as entertaining as it was, being Hungary, but I was my expectations were just blown out the roof in the end. And Sidetrad is back on form. Ham is also on form at the moment, and Jam's title championship lead, I should say, has taken a massive hit tonight. But that will be all from us. Please do watch the F1 events that we do have across this weekend around Hungary. I'm sure they'll have some frills and spills as well. But that will be all from us, and enjoy your weekend. A good night.